Hello again. It's good to see you today. I've got to say, the rumors are true. You stick to deadlines like your life depends on it. I mean, you're here on the hour. I just said to be here around 9. Yeah, but there was no rush. Seriously, what if you were too early and one of the guys was still here? That would be my fault, huh? I guess that's true. Well, they all left at 8:30 and they won't be back until 12, so we've got plenty of time to ourselves. Sucks we can't all hang out together, but I'd rather not sacrifice anyone's safety. So, how was yesterday? Xiao came back pretty giddy. For him, yeah. I swear, I saw him actually smile. It was strange, but I liked it. Seeing him happy is rare. I'm glad he has the chance to come out of his shell around you. I can't wait until this group feels that way about each other. The whole point of making music is to help get rid of their baggage. It isn't good to live with things holding heavy on your heart. It shortens your life, you know? Me? What about me? Oh, that case. I'm still mulling over it. I can't tell which is the better idea. I gave Miss Kujo a call and she practically laughed in my face. She said I needed to spend some time away from the pages if I wanted any shot at figuring things out. As much as I hate to admit it, she might be right. All the information we have on that case is getting old. If I spend too much time looking at it, it all blends together. So I guess I shouldn't tell her about the printed copies I brought with me. Well, it's not my fault this time. I was told to pack anything I considered important, and at the time, that took priority. Of course, there are other odd things in my suitcase, but that's one of the only things I'd be devastated to lose. While detectives aren't sworn in under HIPAA, we do share a similar civic responsibility. Client privacy is a concern. I cannot let anyone else's eyes grace those papers. Why so down all of a sudden? You wanted to look in my suitcase? Well, why? The other important objects, Someone feels like doing some investigation of their own, I see. If you simply must know. Here, this what you're looking for? I'll take that as a yes. Why wouldn't I wear the most precious piece of jewelry I've ever been given? Go on and pull it out if you'd like to inspect it. I don't mind. You bought it after all. Your hands are cold. Yeah, all good. Just wasn't expecting that. Are you all right? Sorry, your hands and I have been unacquainted for some time, but I hadn't expected them to go this cold on me. Would you like to warm them, yourself up? The breeze was pretty strong tonight. You're probably still adjusting to the temperature here, too. I swear, it's always drafty. Guess that's what we get for housing 4 Anemo vision holders and an Adeptus in one room. Speaking of, sorry for the mess. Fenty said he cleaned his part of the room before he left, but, well, you see how that went. Can't blame him. They're going bar hopping, so it isn't surprising he was pretty eager. Then again, maybe there's something in that pile for you. He doesn't tend to do things without purpose. I've started to look into even his simplest behaviors. That includes his peculiar setup. Seriously, though, please lie down. You've been sitting at the edge of the bed for so long that I'm starting to feel awkward. I didn't invite you over to ostracize you, you know? We're going to spend time together. Better. So, I've got good news and bad news. Bad news first. The TV isn't working, so we can't watch those movies we planned to watch. Good news, the story is hilarious. You know how Kazuha manages to keep his cool all the time? That doesn't always bode well for him. I don't know their history. Maybe he struck a nerve? But he was being really indecisive about... that part is classified. But he was giving his usual no-nonsense answers, and our resident drummer just couldn't handle it. So he threw his sticks, and they landed in the plasma screen. It's gonna be a pain to pay for later, but it was funny in the moment. Why'd he get so mad? I think it's got something to do with his connection to his mother. As far as I gathered, Kazuha did something a while back that impressed him. He's been passive-aggressive since. It's like he admires him, but he's jealous of... What was that? Ah, someone's coming back. They must have forgotten something. Worry? What for? Hey, where are you going? He's gone. You can come out now. What was that about? Oh. Yeah, I guess that would have looked sort of suspicious. He didn't even turn my way, though. It was safe. You're red. Wait a minute. Are you embarrassed to be alone with me? Well, I never. What is it that's so wrong with me, Or do you simply like the others more? I'm joking, relax. When has that prospect ever bothered me? Your hiding away was probably more for me than it was for you, wasn't it? Besides, I don't think you would have taken too kindly to our topic of conversation. He acts tough, but he's a real crybaby. I find it endearing, personally. Nothing wrong with a man with a big heart. He got really upset with me the last time I expressed that to him. Not so sure why. Well, back to what I was saying. The TV. We have to pick a different activity for the day. I could take you out to dinner. Or we could go out and look at the sunset. We could always go to the movies, but then we couldn't do a lot of talking. Oh, we could go out and look at the stars when it gets dark. Could also sit in and make drinks, or... This one? Sorry, fill me in. What exactly are we doing? Just... laying here? I must admit, holding on to you does sound comfortable. In that case, may I? Thank you. I am pretty tired, so avoiding physical activity is preferred. Besides, we'd planned to spend time inside, so I'm not exactly dressed to go out. And neither are you, no offense. I wasn't expecting you to show up in pajamas. It makes sense, though. Even if it isn't a slumber party, we did plan to spend a lot of time relaxing. Plus, they're cute. You have good taste. Of course, that's no surprise. You're spending the night with me, after all. Joking. Somewhat. It would be a lie to say I don't admire myself from time to time, but in comparison to what you could be doing with your time, I feel honored to be chosen. Enough of the sappy stuff. What did you want to talk about? Surely if your ideal hangout is to sit and chat, you've got some ideas to share. You always were known to be quite the thinker. I swear you could have joined the detective field if you really wanted to. How so? Well, you're a well-rounded, law-abiding citizen that has a keen eye for detail. You can tell when something's off and point it out accordingly. You know how the things that people like affect their personalities. And you're kind. That last one might seem unrelated, but believe me, it isn't. If you were scary like Madame Cujo, or heartless like some of our enforcing officers, you'd never be able to solve a case. People don't confess when they're afraid, and when they do, those confessions aren't credible. But beyond that, it takes a certain level of understanding to study people. Their behavior is just as predictable as their taste if you know the signs. I think you'd catch on quickly. Hey, one of these days we should play a game. One of those whodunits. I, for one, think you would make a great partner. That case would be solved in no time. Wait a minute, I asked what you wanted to talk about. You have a way of doing that. Of what? Getting people to talk. Just another reason you'd make a great detective. Your conversational skills are effortless. For someone who says so little, you probably know so much. Maximizing output with minimum input is also important in detective work. And we both know you have no trouble lying to people. Deceit is a tactic we, unfortunately, have to use fairly often in my field of work. Too soon? Apologies, I meant no harm. Glad to see you care, at least. Anyway, enough about work. I'm convinced you just want me to fawn over you. Detective tactics don't work on the detective. Nice try, though. If you want me to talk about how much I like you, all you truly have to do is ask. Unless that's too embarrassing for you. Go on, ask away. I'm waiting. Seems I was right then. You're adorable, you know that? One of the most bold people I know, but you shy away the moment you're confronted. Actually, I rescind that statement. I don't know if you're the same way with others, but I like that you're this way with me. It makes me feel special. Like I can still get to you. Is that true? You're doing it again, cutie. Perhaps being caged in my arms isn't good for one's confidence. You don't feel trapped, do you? I can back away if you want. No? So you enjoy being near and dear? Glad to know some things never change. Human nature is fascinating, isn't it? I have to say, though, I'm glad our relationship is no longer skin deep. I'm happy that you value my company outside of all that. Getting to know you as a person has been nice. I mean, sure, I knew a lot about you, but who didn't? I feel like I'm finally getting to understand you. Actually, meeting everyone else has helped with that too. I get to see how you've handled other relationships and the way that you deal with the consequences. It's been quite the ride, has it not? You know, the band isn't going to be in town for very long after this. We're headed overseas. Has anyone informed you? Yeah, that's one of the reasons I've been thinking about picking that case back up. We're going to Inazuma. I know you have no plans on heading back over there anytime soon. You're busy with work and relationships, and you've never been the best with balancing those. So as much as I'd like to invite you out with us, I'm sorry? You'll think about it. Please, there's no need to humor me for the sake of my feelings. I completely understand your circumstance. It's plain cruel to get my hopes up. You don't even want to be in the same room as the two of us at once. And you expect me to believe you'd be willing to join us across the ocean? I too am a fan of wishful thinking, but that may be a push far even for yourself. Oh, stop being silly. I would never expect something so strenuous from you. Spending this much time with me is already more than enough, I promise. What, did you think I requested it only for your sake? I've missed you. You've done a wonderful job assisting me with that. How could I possibly ask for anything more? Then again, I wouldn't assume your suggestion is only for my sake either. You have a history you'd like to clear up. Still, I do think you should handle yourself on the inside before you start pouring out to others. You may end up giving off the wrong impression if you choose to tag along. What impression? What is the most tactful way I can say this? You, there is no nice way to say it, I'm afraid. Everyone in the group is romantically attracted to you. While these scenarios are fun in light novels, in real life the stakes are far higher. If it were just Kazuha and I, perhaps I would recommend it. We are level-headed and well-acquainted. While he is a very jealous man, he hides it well and behaves maturely. However, if you add to that a wild card like Xiao, a hothead like Scaramouche, and an instigator like Venti, you get a recipe for disaster. All 5 of us plus you in any confined space for any period of time could lead to some less than desirable outcomes. It's alright in public when everyone can have their own space, but in private? Imagine you spend more time with one of us than the others and rumors spark. The pressure on you would be immeasurable. Instead of focusing on any of us one-on-one like you are now, you would be forced to divide your time evenly. If you're anything like I remember, I doubt you'll want to do that. You just don't have the strength that it takes to make an official verdict. Your indecision is what helps you in your field, yes? You are able to see things from other points of view without much need for your own input. It's a puzzle, and you assemble it. Relationships don't work that way. They're more of a web. If you don't have a sharp point, you can't slip through to separate it. Your other option would be to travel there on your own, but that man you're with, he's from Mondstadt, no? I doubt he'd want to stray too far from home on short notice. Plus, flights are pricey. The band is well off enough if you'd like to risk it. We could probably adjust our ticketing, but then you'd have the issue of choosing who you sit with, and... pardon? Of course we wouldn't let you travel that far on your own. No matter how often they go at each other's throats, we'd all be equally devastated if something happened to you. If you want someone to take you, that's your best bet. It probably shouldn't be us, though. That look in your eye. You're plotting, aren't you? Well, I'll leave that to you then. Surprise me. Or don't. If you feel the need to tell me, tell me. If not, keep it all to yourself. I'd like the challenge of figuring it out when I see you again. Your mind seems set no matter the reason. Thanks. For caring enough to follow us around. It is rare for fans to travel to multiple countries to listen to the same show set they've already seen. We aren't that famous. There's that smile I like. Sorry, topics got somewhat heavy there. I just care about you. I don't want you subjecting yourself, or me for that matter, to any more trouble than you have to. I'd say this has been a productive conversation, no? A little too productive for my tastes. If possible, can we just rest for now? I've developed a bit of a headache from all this thinking. There's been a lot on my mind lately. Like what? Are you serious? Well, maybe lessening the load will lessen the ache. So, sure. I've been feeling rather conflicted. Not just with work, though. With you. I don't want to stress you at all. Allow me to make that perfectly clear. That's why I've been holding my tongue. Our no-strings-attached model was what let us work in the first place, wasn't it? Just getting to know you? It's taught me a lot about myself as well. For example, I really like people who can't make up their minds. I know. At times I wish our relationship stayed physical. But you can't deny growth. Time will take what it wants and gives as it pleases. Growth will not push you in the same direction you intended each time it moves you. There is always a chance for the winds to push against you and direct your steps onto a new path. In my case, that path involves butterflies and love songs. I feel alright letting you know this only because of what we just discussed. I trust you understand me well enough to know that I won't make my feelings your personal problem. However, if this information were to leak within the group, well, I couldn't promise my own safety at that point. I'm the one who constantly calls them out for their inability to grow past you. Yet, here I am. Smitten, just like the rest. You're such a troublemaker. No, this is by no means a proper confession. It would feel a bit like intimidation to confess to you now. I'll save that for after you've made yourself clear to everyone. Or hold on to it if you decide to backtrack on some of your disappearances. For now, I'll stick to holding you the way that I'm used to. We've got at least 3 hours to ourselves, yes? What should we do with that time? I have a few ideas.